we're back with another episode. Welcome back to the Face Off with Fleming and Fowler. Everybody.
Welcome back, y'all.
So glad to have you. I know you're glad to have us.
Or you wouldn't have logged on and chosen our episode.
You wouldn't have pressed play, bitch. You wouldn't have pressed play.
That's right.
We're here again to give you what you want.
So tell you what I want, what I really want.
So tell me what you want, what you really want.
I want to really think.
Surprise, this episode is just us singing.
That's very
true. Karaoke episode.
That's right. How was your week this past week?
What a wild ride I've had.
Okay.
It's been fine. A bunch of really random, annoying things have been happening, but that's just life, I guess. My power was out at the house for like 8 hours last week.
No.
I don't know if anyone knows. It's like the hottest week of the frickin' summer. I didn't have AC.
That's blasphemous.
It's just hot.
That's horrible.
Also, you just need electricity for quite literally everything.
Yeah, you really do. You really do.
So that sucked. And yeah, patient care is patient caring. A lot of demented people in the hospital.
Tell me about it.
A lot of wild, wacky stuff. But other than that, pretty good. It's been, doing the dang thing.
Well, that's cool.
What about you? How's your week going?
My week has been very interesting. The past couple of weeks have been very interesting. I think I talked about this on the podcast. I won't go into full detail. But anyway, I just have to say one thing. Fuck the HOA. Okay? Fuck the
amen,
HOA.
sister.
Here's the thing.
That was the biggest wool pulled over my eyes in buying a house.
The HOA?
The
Really?
HOA.
Okay, here's the thing. I set myself up for failure because I remember before I bought a house, I was like, I want to live in a place that has a very strict HOA because I don't want people doing this. These bitches done came and took pictures of my house. This ain't the first time
I hate
done
when
it.
they do that.
Yeah, it's not the first time they've done it. But I'm like, okay, you have to understand, my grass needs to be cut. I understand that. Right. But here's the thing. It's over 100 degrees right now. And I don't want to pay anybody right now because I just don't want to feel like paying anybody. I've already spent too much money on a project I've been doing on my house. And they literally were just like, in an effort to keep our neighborhood. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, look at the person next door to me. Their grass looks a fucking mess. Whatever.
The HOA is it's just like a nuisance. I understand what it's used for, but also my HOA also takes pictures of my yard to then send me the notice of my yard.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, bitch, I know what it looks like. I've come home to it every day.
Exactly.
But then sometimes they'll send me pictures of houses that aren't mine.
Oh.
Like it's the one next door, the one across the street, and they're like, fix this. I'm like, that's not my fucking house.
Oh no, it's my house every time. They're accurate.
Oh, okay.
At least my HOA is. But I'm just saying, like, stop sending dumbass messages, like, especially when it's raining or when it's super, super hot. I can't cut the grass if it's raining, you dumbass.
It'll rain for like a week straight, and then the HOA will be like, cut your grass.
Yeah, I
it'll
can't.
just grow back.
Literally. It's so annoying. So I had to cut my grass on Friday, and I legit went outside at like 7:50 p.m. and it actually wasn't that bad. 7 p.m. Friday,
95 degrees.
It's 105 degrees.
Truly,
but
it's hot.
yeah, I had to cut my grass. I'm just like, if y'all hate my grass so much, why don't you cut it? And don't give me no bill, because clearly it bothers you. It don't bother me.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, so I kind of manifested that, unfortunately, on myself.
We're not down with HOA.
No. Fuck the HOA. I mean, they're there for a reason. Whatever. All I'm saying
They're
is,
like what are those hall monitors?
yeah. Like, don't you have a job, a real job? Ugh. Anyway, I still haven't even got my pool key, and I've been here.
You have a pool?
Yeah, we got 2 pools.
And you don't have a pool key?
I'm not going in that pool.
Fair. That's fair.
I'm not going in that pool.
Marissa and Miranda are going to a water park vacation resort destination this week. And I was like, I hate water parks. They gross me out. They gross me. You don't think water parks are disgusting?
No, I think because I grew up going to them.
You think you won't go in your community pool, but you'll go to a water park.
Yeah, because the water is constantly flowing.
Gross. But there's more people. There's more variables.
Yeah, but the water is like going out and being like cleaned
Absolutely
or filtered
not.
or whatever.
Oh,
Only because
gross.
it's like, if you're going on the slides, I don't go in the actual like the body of water.
Sitting water?
Yeah, the sitting water, but like on the little slides and stuff. Yeah, I go on those.
I hate a water park.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Minutes of tubes and stuff. Oh, you had a horrible childhood then.
No, I didn't. But we would always go to like Fiesta, Texas and SeaWorld and Schlitterbahn.
See, that's not the same.
What do we, Splash Town?
No, we had, growing up, I had this place called Boomers, and then we had Grand Prix at first, but then it was called Boomers. And then they also have, we got, Disney World, Isles of Adventure, Busch Gardens, blah, 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 all that stuff. But yeah, no, it didn't seem gross. I mean, people walked around barefoot. That was normal. I mean, but we did that even after hurricanes in South Florida, though. You just walk around. That's why
it's just there's a lot of feet out, a lot of bare feet.
Yeah, a lot of mom bods.
A lot of babies in the water, which grosses me out.
Yeah.
A lot of sunscreen in the... no, not a water.
Well, they put the little chemical, so if you pee in the water, it'll trail you.
Does it really do that, though?
It really does. Absolutely. Especially in bodies of water. But like, I don't know, the slides and stuff, no. But in the bodies of water.
See, and I don't like that. I love to pee in a pool.
Why do you like to pee in a pool?
Because why would I get out?
Well, I mean, not in a pool. I would pee in the beach, not in a pool.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've peed in a pool in a minute. I pee in the ocean all the time.
So you admit you're a pool peer?
I was. Ew. Yeah. If there's a lot of chlorine in it, fuck it.
Ew, that's so gross.
I don't think I've peed in a pool in a long time.
But you shouldn't do that anyway. If you pee in the beach, that's a different story. You're supposed to. I
pee in the ocean all the time and lakes.
Yeah, you should, but not in an actual pool. That's a very that's gross.
I feel like it's better to pee in a pool. There's chlorine everywhere.
Yeah, no, but I don't want to be swimming in your piss. That's
You'd
gross.
be swimming in it anyway. Even if we were in the ocean, you'd be swimming in my piss.
That's different. It's way more bacteria.
No.
And the bacteria is much higher than like the a pH of your urine. Yeah. I mean, come on, they got toxic chemicals in there that'll kill your pee. But
I'm just saying.
That's
I think it's unrealistic for me to say that I've never peed in a pool.
Oh, I've absolutely peed in a pool. I'm just saying you shouldn't do that. I mean, I did it as a kid, not as an adult. Have you done that as an adult?
Like yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. I have not peed in a pool.
Never invited you to my
But
pool,
I do
ever.
hate getting out of the pool to pee. Because then you get the toilet seat wet. And I'm wet on a toilet.
Why are you peeing in the toilet? Why don't you just go outside and just let her rip?
What?
Just pull your bathing suit over? I'm kidding.
We are such different people.
I'm kidding. No, you actually go to the bathroom.
No, you do. And then you got to be wet. And like getting wet clothes off my body is just...
Well, you don't have to do all... You being too complicated. You got to pretend you're a boy.
Just squat and swap.
Exactly. That's all you do.
That's my romper situation.
And you just go super fast.
Do you wear bodysuits ever?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you undo your entire bodysuit to pee, or you do?
Yes, I have to.
You squat and
no. I have to.
I'm a squat.
At this age,
dude.
with this body and these knees, I got to take the whole body.
It just takes so much time to unsnap and resnap.
It does, but you have to do it. You have to do it as an adult because your pee gonna go everywhere.
Just pull it over, hang it on a lip.
Then your bodysuit's gonna be pissy. That's so gross. Ew. How did we even start talking about that? I have no clue. But anyway,
I don't know. How was your week?
I mean, but
you were talking about the HOA.
Oh,
hello,
yeah. The HOA is crazy. But other than that, my week was pretty cool. I'll just tell y'all this. Being an adult is very interesting, and it can be good and or bad.
Good and or bad.
I just need y'all to understand that I think in this climate right now, unfortunately, with the nomination of Kamala Harris for the presidency of the United States of America as the Democratic nominee, Black women, we are at an all-time high of attacks in corporate spaces. And I need y'all to be aware of that. I need you to be diligent. I need you to not react. I need you to understand what game is being played. And I need you to play it way better than the game makers. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I would just like for everyone to just use their thinking caps.
Yeah.
And to just be intelligent individuals. I don't need you to be like a super genius or anything, but just like a modicum of common sense would go so far for me personally.
Yeah, I just think people are making things way more difficult than they have to be. And, I'm a firm believer that, everybody's perception is valid to them. But just because your perception is valid to you does not mean that it is reality for everybody else.
Correct.
And so in these times of increased attacks corporately, just remain humble and remain prayerful. That's all.
Be humble. Sit down.
We gonna be all right. Anyway, but what are you putting in the Rehab Corner today?
I need y'all, especially if you work in a healthcare setting, to stop fighting with people with dementia. I'm tired of having to listen to it. They don't know what's going on. They're not here.
Do they?
We're not operating on the same plane.
Okay.
And even if they do, they're louder and more annoying than you are. So just let it go. Just let it go. I'm walking into rooms with people arguing with 80-year-old men about shit that doesn't need to be argued about because you're never going to win. You can't win with these people.
No, you can't.
You've already lost. It's a losing game.
Yeah.
So I just like, I had to witness an argument today of 5 minutes of this little boy telling this 80-year-old man that he can pee because he's got the PureWick on and it'll be fine. This guy, he doesn't know what a PureWick is. He's like 100 years old. The concept doesn't make sense. He's sundowning.
Lord Jesus. What were you talking about? A patient punched a student or something?
Oh my gosh. Had this patient, he's got, well, I don't want to say that it's dementia. I want to say that he's slowly dying of heart failure.
Okay. That took a turn.
He's homeless and he's septic. So it's just like he hasn't had a bed for God knows how long. So he's enjoying his time in the bed.
Yeah.
He's getting some good quality sleep on account of his heart is the ejection fraction's all of nothing.
Yeah.
Right? He's kind of loopy, wacky pataki. Also, drugs.
Okay.
He do be using.
Okay.
And you know how sometimes you have these confused, mildly agitated patients that are just saying wacky things, but you have things you have to get done, so you're just placating with them. It's like a game of make believe. You have to meet them where they're at. You're joking, you're getting them to do whatever. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of playing around. Everything he's saying, we're kind of being like ho ho ho, you know, trying to get him to get up and move. And then finally he was playing along, and then he's just kind of like, there's a student there. I'm notoriously bad at working with students because I get frustrated very easily.
And you forget you were once a student.
And I forget I was once a student. Also, I forget that they're not my student. And
yeah.
Okay.
It's very hard to sit on your hands.
Correct. So I don't forget that they're not my student. I have a hard time with having to not take a front seat to their education when I see what's lacking in the education they're receiving, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, your CI's not telling you what you need to know, and it's disinformation, and
and you're slowing me down.
Yeah. So let's come on. So I'm letting the student be a student, and the patient decides to stop playing along, and he looks at him because everyone's kind of joking, and you're laughing at what the patient's saying because you don't want to be like, sir, stop saying these crazy things, because that's not going to go anywhere. And we're laughing, and it just it's like that 1 second where the laughing stops because the patient decides to stop joking around. He's like, you know what? No, that's not funny. Fuck you. Fuck you. I was like, oh shit. And the student's kind of like, the student's like, ha ha ha. The patient's like, no, it's not funny, man. You're making those jokes, man. Fuck you, man. And I was like, oh my God. Then all of a sudden, boom, punches the fucking student in the gut.
But wait, was it a dementia punch or like a real patient
It was
punch?
a dementia punch. Okay. It was a EF of 10
like
punch.
A love tap.
Yeah, did not hurt. But I was like, get him back in the bed. And he's still trying to do the assessment. I was like, we're done. We're done here. Lay him down.
Evaluation terminated.
I was like, we were having a good time.
That is
But once
hilarious.
again, we're not arguing with people who are not of the right state of mind.
No, definitely not. Speaking of your patient with dementia, I had a patient this week who had a particular code called on him. Like, every hospital has different codes for different reasons. I mean, Code Blue is like an international thing. We already know that. But anyway, we had a particular code for like behavior because we have behavioral issues. And patients may have behavior issues.
The color codes.
I do too, because I think they should just be universal.
Yeah, and I just like the hospital I'm at now. Whatever you're calling, you just call it. Like security alert, like a freaking fire alarm active, like all of that shit. That way I don't have to think what color the code is. Well, we're all on the same page.
At a hospital I used to work in Atlanta, we had this code called Code Manpower. And so that was basically where you needed manpower, literally. Like, it was a patient who was either morbidly obese or fell and needed to get off the floor. And so pretty much but any man in the hospital could respond to this code.
Boy job.
Yeah, so it was sometimes very embarrassing for the patient to go through, especially if they were of a particular body habitus. And so this particular code was for behavior, and it was my patient and myself and the OT. We get along very well with this patient. And I feel like for physical therapists and occupational therapists, we spend a certain amount of time with patients, and they tell us stuff a lot of times they don't tell their nurses or the doctors. And so we're able to build a rapport with them. And so in an effort to try to help de-escalate, which I don't oftentimes go to codes for behavior, but for this particular person, I knew that as a patient, he would be able to be calmed down very easily. And so we went to the code, and the security, officers were there. And so we were like, hey, is it okay if we kind of help de-escalate?
You were the de-escalator, huh?
Well, I mean, we really did. By the time we got there, it was already de-escalated because the surgeon was there as well, too. And so, the security was very nice about saying, yeah, absolutely, if y'all feel y'all can handle it, whatever the case may be. And so then the surgeon was there, and so she asked us to come on in. He was calm by the time we got there, but I feel like there was some administrative backlash from one person anyway, about going to a particular code. And I just felt like, if you don't see these types of patients all the time who have, behavioral issues, you have no clue what we are dealing with as therapists and how instrumental we are in de-escalating things, because it's so much easier for us to be the bad guy versus the nurses being the bad guy, because the nurse is stuck at the bedside for 12 hours, and so it's much easier to switch a therapist than it is to switch a nurse for an entire shift.
Correct.
And we were able to talk with him. He was perfectly fine. They had, like I said, they had already de-escalated the situation before we got there, but there were just some other factors in this particular patient. He's a TBI as well too, which has a traumatic brain injury, so a lot of times when they do have outbursts, they don't remember the outburst anyway. And so in an effort to again de-escalate and make sure that the patient, the staff were safe, we just kind of just tried to lend a helping hand, but we didn't get in the way. And the security officers were very nice to allow us to go in there and help out.
The thing about therapy in the hospital that I think nurses don't understand is we always have to be kind of on the offensive. Like, we're walking into a room and the patient does not want to do what the fuck we want them to do, and they also don't have to do what we want them to do. If you're a nurse, you have this the patient knows they need to get medicine, they need to do these shit. You're doing all of these things, you're stuck with them all day. With us, we walk in the room being like, we already know you probably don't want to do this, but what can we do to make it better for you? Right. So having that hat on all day makes you kind of like be able to bob and weave in personality and behavior differences. So, and then we also can do we're always like, how about we get up and move? If you're upset because you can't do this, how can we fix it to do that? And a lot of times I think like the nursing and the patient care staff, they're just very much like, nope, we have to do this and we're going to do it. And it kind of just boxes in everybody. Because
even patients who are like in restraints, a lot of times patients will try to pull out lines and tubes and stuff because you're telling them, no, you can't get up, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, then when you have PT and OT come in and our literal job is to get you up and out of the bed, then they're going to be way more cooperative. I mean, we've had patients who, again, we take restraints off. They don't try to pull anything because we give them the freedom, versus the nursing staff. They have to abide by these orders because the orders are in. They have to follow the orders. If they don't, that goes against their license. Versus us, we don't follow the same orders that nursing does. So, it makes it a little bit easier, and patients respond to us and actually do a lot better because they're just like, oh, well, did they try to pull anything with you? No, they did perfectly fine. And they're able to get off restraints.
My favorite is when you put them back. We were like, no, we were at the whole time. They never tried to pull anything. He was really great. He followed commands. I'll put him back in the bed, and I just see them like this,
reaching for it. Yeah.
I'm like, I just told them. I know. I think we're also fresh. Like, we're not stuck at the bedside with someone doing some crazy shit for 12 hours, so we can come in and just,
True.
We're not frustrated or anything.
Yeah. Which probably pisses off the nurse because they're just like, you just want to come in here for 30 minutes and just fuck up some shit, and then now I'm left to deal with it for the rest of the day. Sorry.
I told a nurse the other day because I had a eval with this man who's got Alzheimer's dementia, and I had texted the PT to go treat. She didn't read it in time, so she saw him without me, and she was like, oh no, he's super agitated now, like he's just, I said, she said he was a total. I said, because he's resistive or because he's weak? She's like, no, he's just resisting me. I left him in there with the family, don't go in right now. So I went and checked in with the nurse, and I said, hey, I have your patient, but I just talked with PT, he's really agitated right now, so I'm gonna wait. She goes, what are you talking about? He's been sleeping all morning. We gave him Ativan, he's been chilling out. I said, I don't think he's chilling out anymore. I think he got riled up. She's like, what the hell?
Oh,
I was
Jesus.
like, well, that's what it feels like, huh?
Well, I even have a patient on Friday where the nurse was like, well, I told him PT was coming, and he told me that he didn't want to have PT because he didn't want PT to tell him that he couldn't go home. And so I came in and he was like, exactly. So of course, when I came in and I tried to come in with this very, spunky disposition, like, let's just try to like break the ice a little bit. So I came in and he was like, are you PT? Because he saw a walker, and I was like, yeah, I am. And he was like, no, I really don't want PT. And I was like, hey. Let's just start over. Let me walk out, come back in. So I knocked on the door. Hey, I'm on physical therapy.
He's like, get out.
Right. He's like, get out right now, lady. And so I told him, I said, hey, my only agenda is to see how well you move. And if you move perfectly fine, guess what I can do? Sign off, and I can kick you off my service. And the doctors can just send you home. And so he's like, well, I have everything at home. I did. He was like, he was trying to give me a whole dissertation of, I can do this and I can do that.
Prove it.
I don't need you to tell me. I just need you to show me. So he was an amputee. And so he was able to get from his bed to his wheelchair and back again.
That's all I need to see?
That's all I need to see. You're off my service. You have a great day. I hope I see you in HEB. and not as a patient in here again. That's it. So yeah, but I think people underestimate, administration included. I think they underestimate how valuable we actually are as therapists and how we can really help to de-escalate some of the behavior that happens in hospitals. I'm not saying that, you know, we need to be like on a code team and all that kind of stuff, but for some patients who have other psychological issues that are going on besides dementia or, you know, we can definitely especially with those TBI patients or patients with mental health disorders, whether it be bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, we can help to try to de-escalate some of that stuff again, because we're giving them the freedom to move around versus just trying to keep them confined to the room, which is why they
we have the time to build rapport with them.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. Because I mean, you know, you have security coming. When they see security, they're automatically going to be on the defense, like, what you going to try to do? And it's like, versus seeing another person in uniform in scrubs that they've been seeing for days, it's like, oh, okay, well, the only thing I wanted to do, exactly, like, I just wanted to go to the bathroom by myself. Like, can I just go to the bathroom by myself? I'll do your therapy right now. Let's do it.
Exactly. Half my job is walking into rooms with people who are getting up out of bed and nursing is saying, don't get out of bed. I'm like, well, I got to see it anyway. So let's go. Come on.
Exactly. I'll put a chair alarm in there.
I fucking hope we make it.
Please, Mr. Johnson, don't fall. Do anything else. Jesus. I did have a patient who, another patient who had some issues with nursing, right? And so I think patients who have chronic issues, specifically TBIs or any other type of mental health disorder, I feel like we have to be diligent. And I think we as healthcare workers, it is very easy for us to come in every day, do our jobs and leave, right? Yeah. But I think sometimes we don't take the time to slow down, to put ourselves in the shoes of these patients and understand their frustration. So like, you know, I had a patient this past week where he's an older guy, and of course the nutrition rep came in, just put his tray on the tray table. Well, he has built up utensils. He's a feeder. And so his food is just sitting there. And so then he's like really pissed off at everybody, because he's like, I literally got my breakfast and they know that I can't feed myself because of my particular issue. Like, why can't y'all just help me? Like, I don't understand. Like understand from my perspective why I'm sitting here, and you should understand why I'm so frustrated and pissed off at you. And
especially
it's not anything
when you've
personal.
been there for a while.
Exactly.
Because to you're like, I've been here all of these days. It's the same shit every day. You should know by now. But there's so many moving parts in a hospital.
It is.
And it's not hard on either side. Like, I feel like it is easy enough to pass that information, but there's just so much shit going on all the time.
I mean, again, my patient with the cranberry juice, I remember 3 days later that this man wanted cranberry juice, and I was on a plane in Florida. And I remembered it. So, you know, it's just...
Even me, my job is to fucking feed people, to help people feed themselves. And even after like 10 minutes, we'll be doing self-feeding, and I'll be like, listen, bud, this was great.
But I gotta go.
But I got shit to fucking do. So we gotta get someone in here to fucking feed you.
You're chewing these eggs too slow. Just swallow them. Yeah. And so for me, for PT, I'm just like, I'll heat it up when we finish. And they're like, no, I want to eat now. Okay, fine, Mr. Johnson. We can eat these little raggedy ass hospital eggs, whatever. But yeah, I think... like I said, it's very easy for us to just come in and do our jobs, but, you know, it's always good to self-reflect and kind of put ourselves in the patient's shoes to understand and empathize with them.
Which are probably Crocs.
Huh?
Patient shoes? Probably Crocs.
Oh, yes. Or just hospital socks.
That's true.
Really?
All my patients are wearing Crocs. You know why? It's because they're all TMAs.
But the thing is, Crocs are the worst shoes.
That's what I think. But
to wear for balance.
They always say,
allegedly.
I say, what do you wear at home? Crocs, mija, because my foot. I said, because they're wide. Yes, they're wide. They fit my foot.
But the thing is, too, when you're trying to do gait training, well, for me as a PT,
gait training and Crocs.
Yeah, and I hate when patients do that. They be like, "Oh, I don't want to wear hospital socks. I want to put my shoes on." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. You have hard bottom rubber shoes?" And they're, "No, I got Crocs."
There's literally one of the ICUs at the hospital made a rule: no Crocs.
No, because Crocs
you cannot walk in the hallway with Crocs.
Okay, Crocs is a great company, right? They have beautiful shoes, and I own a pair of Crocs as a physical therapist. However, as a physical therapist, if I am trying to teach you how to walk and correct your walking, or your gait as we call it, I cannot proficiently do that with you in Crocs.
You can't be flopping around in a Croc, bro. Even in sport mode, they're like,
I'll
put the strap on. I don't give a shit. I don't want your Croc on. I can already see the toe flipping back. I can see you flipping out of the back of it.
I'd rather train you how to walk and do gait assessments with you barefoot versus in them goddamn
And my
Crocs.
favorite is always like, all right, you can put them on with the sticky socks. So then they're sticky socked into the fucking Crocs.
Well, then it's like you're on a Bosu ball. So all you're doing is this. Your ankle is just doing this. And I'm like, I can't train you how to... Again, I don't train people in Crocs. I tell patients all the time, if they are not hookahs, some Nikes, some Reeboks, some hard-soled shoes, we're not doing it. Period. We're not.
Do you remember? Also, there's things that hills people die on, or just things you learn and you just keep it and you practice forever. But like, one thing about me, we're putting the fucking sticky socks on.
Absolutely, no exception.
Because I'm not about to have some shit happen and then us look at your fucking feet and there's some crazy shit going on down there. I need something to stick to this floor for my peace of mind. Absolutely. And because legally I'm just not dealing with it. Do you remember when I had that physical therapist tell me that I had a patient who was wearing fuzzy socks? They were total, I don't know if I ever told you this. It was like COVID days, like ECMO COVID days. And they were a total assist, and they weren't cannulated, I don't think, so maybe had just gotten decannulated or something. And I said, okay, well, let's put your socks, your other socks on, and they were kind of putting up a fight. And the physical therapist I was with told me, well, you know what? I actually think I want to keep them in their fuzzy socks because it'll make it's better. Sometimes I do that for the transfers. I keep them in their fuzzy socks like this. It just makes the transfers a little easier. I like it. It's just a technique that I use.
You want your patient to slip and fall?
What do you think happened when we went to total assist pivot this patient over?
Their legs went straight out.
Yes. And because I was a new therapist, and this was like a older physical therapist, I was like, okay.
You're going to have to tell me who that was off record, because that's horrible.
The dumbest shit. I will never forget seeing those fucking pink feet just start sliding out.
Jesus.
And I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, and I know some people don't like to wear socks because patients always be like, I don't want to put the socks on. Mr. Johnson, I don't care. Put the goddamn socks on, okay? Because you're not falling on my watch and I'm not doing extra paperwork today. Jesus. Yeah, so just when therapists tell y'all to put on the socks in the hospital, just put on the goddamn socks. We're going to take them off once we leave, but put on the goddamn socks when we're walking. And no Crocs. Please, no Crocs. Anyway, I'll tell you what we're saying no to. We're saying no to drugs, but also to the bullshit that's happening with the U.S. I mean, not U.S. But basically will affecting our U.S. Olympian bronze medalist Jordan Childs,
who we love dearly,
who we love and we stand for dearly. Yo, I don't know if y'all realize, but the Olympics is still going on. By the time this comes out, it would have been over. The closing ceremony is Sunday.
And what an Olympics it was!
It was a great Olympics.
I loved it.
You know, for all those Australians out there, you didn't beat the United States. Okay, so and whatever beef y'all have, yeah. So, gymnastics wrapped up, and of course we had an all-black podium we talked about last week with Rebecca Andrade winning gold, Simone Biles winning silver, and then Jordan Childs winning bronze after they challenged the ruling or the judging score that she got that bumped her up into third place and got the bronze. Well, here we are 5-6 days later. The two Romanian athletes Olympians appealed, and they basically ruled in favor of the Romanian women, and they were saying, hey, we agree to share this medal, blah blah blah. And that I guess they ruled that Jordan Childs's team actually asked for the appeal 4 seconds late, because apparently allegedly you have a minute in order to appeal the judge's ruling once the score has been done.
Doesn't seem like a lot of time at all.
It really doesn't. And so, I mean, do they just put like a yellow flag or a red challenge flag like the NFL? But anyway, so the U.S. Gymnastics Federation or whatever, they are actually appealing the Olympic ruling to try to give Jordan her medal back, because in the event that happened, they said that they cannot share the medal and that Jordan's bronze will now be taken away from her.
But also, why can't you share the medal?
I don't understand why you can't share either, especially that 5 days later. Come on now, that's ridiculous.
Because people tie all the time.
Yeah, and the only time that a medal is really taken away that I'm aware of is if you flat out cheat or you're doping or something. Yeah, but I'm just like, why would her medal be stripped away? Y'all don't sit here and let this girl get on the podium. You literally gave her the medal. You had all of this time to figure out if that was going to be legit or not.
Yeah.
And then this girl probably done flew home already, and you talking about you want the medal back? I bet you won't get it. That was an all-black girl podium. We can do that again.
And we stand on that.
We stand on that. We're not with the fuck shit.
I don't like that.
I don't either. And I just feel so bad for her because, you having that, you working so hard towards something, and as an individual, and then finally winning by yourself, and then they're like, oh, technicality.
It's giving Moonlight La La Land, and it only looks bad on the Olympics.
That's very true. Yeah. So, and people are saying, never let Paris do this again. I'm just like, Paris, I don't think y'all gonna ever get a chance to host the Olympics again.
I am so excited to see what the Olympics looks like in LA.
I think it's gonna be a disaster.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
There's no room to put anything there.
No.
That they're trying to build on top. Oh, the traffic,
the prices. No, it's gonna be insane.
I just want to know, where do you go to buy Olympic tickets? Do you go to Ticketmaster? Where do you go? Because I've seen some influencers and some people who are literally going. They went just to see Sha'Carri run, or they went just to see the women's basketball. I'm like, how are y'all getting? But where are you getting tickets? But even some people who just regular layman.
But you know what? I have a bunch of. I won't like. There's people I follow on Instagram that are friends. Like I know them personally, and they're at the Olympics. So you have to be able to get tickets.
That's what I'm saying.
Because some motherfuckers are just sitting randomly. Where do you
go? Olympics.com?
Maybe. I bet it's something like that.
That's interesting. We got to find out before
Should we
LA.
go?
Yeah.
We have some time.
Yeah. I only
go to the Winter Olympics in Utah.
Oh, I would love to go to the Winter Olympics. They're going to be in
Salt Lake City, I think.
What do I want to see, though?
I want to see the shit where they're skiing, but they're shooting bow and arrows at the same time. Does anyone know what that's called?
What is it, the Hunger Games?
Basically.
No.
What is that called?
I saw this one lady, she was training on a treadmill, and she had like this really heavy dumbbell, and she was bent over while she was running at the same time. And she was like, you never know. She's like, don't judge people in the gym. You never know what people are actually training for. But it's because she has to hold onto this little thing and literally run like she's bent over. And I'm like, damn, your thighs look amazing.
It's called ski archery.
Ski archery? Why would that ever be utilized? Wow.
You just never know when you're going to need to shoot something while skiing.
You
just
in Utah.
Never know.
Okay, we got to talk about what things that we did not know was going to happen. Did you watch the breakdancing?
Bitch. What? Okay, I'm so glad you brought it up. I have so many questions. Number one, how do you judge that? / what are the rules?
Not a single black.
Thank you. 3, the diversity. 4, how did you get picked for that? What are the trials like? What were the qualifications?
I just feel like some sports should not be a part of the Olympics.
Why did we need to add that?
Where are the Jabberwockies? Okay?
Amen.
Because they should be the only people.
But also, America's Got Talent. What was it? America's Breakdance. What the fuck was the breakdancing show?
That Australian woman. I was like, are you a fucking centipede that somebody poured salt on? What is wrong with you? Get the fuck off of that floor.
What was the show that the Jabberwockies were on?
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent, but was there one just for breakdancing?
It was, because Lil Mama was the judge.
And wasn't like Nick Cannon?
So you think you can dance? That's what it was.
So you think you can? Okay, that was more of a breakdancing Olympic trial than any of this shit. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Well, I saw some of the judges, and I'm like, no.
Isn't breakdancing okay, this could be just ignorance on I thought it was A, American, and B, black. Yes, and yes. Absolutely. And I just feel like
they were talking about the names of people that one girl, her name was like Moesha Johnson, and I'm like, bitch, come on now, Moesha. I think she was from Lithuania. I was bro, come on.
Did that girl really get 0 points?
She did. Okay, here's the thing: the Australian representative, she actually apparently has like a PhD in like urban breakdancing or some shit. I'm like, who the fuck made that crazy ass degree? But anyway, she's a professor and she teaches like hip hop and stuff. And I'm like, just because you're a professor of it doesn't mean that you know what you're actually doing. It was very much
giving the audio where she's like, make it hip hop.
Right. Hi, my name is Tina. You want to do your hands like this? Because this is like hip hop. It's relaxed.
That was the entire.
And I'm like, Dina was more of a hip hop legend than this lady was from Australia.
I had to go watch fucking.
Ooh, Kool and the Gang is pissed right now.
Step really up just to feel a little cooler.
Y'all could have got Jessica Alba because she would have been breakdancing.
Man, can you imagine if they had put Jessica Alba? I would bring Julia Stiles out of retirement.
Come on with the shoulders. Come on.
That's more breakdancing than whatever the hell that was.
That lady looked like a centipede who somebody poured salt on.
How is it scored? I still don't understand that.
Well, me and my coworker did look it up on our lunch break. Anyway.
On my allotted 15 minutes.
Yeah, on my allotted 15-minute break. And the way it was scored, it doesn't make any sense. Because I'm like, you need a crowd to basically judge
It should
that.
just been those little crowdometers where it gets louder, and that's how you judge it.
Okay, so they said, oh wait, hold on.
Was that just added this year?
No, it's been there for a minute.
That is wacky pataki. I would have picked.
So breakdancing is scored. Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Excuse me. I'll cut that out.
Each judge, they grade on 5 different criteria: technique, originality, execution, and vocabulary, which means the variety of move styles and transitions, and musicality. And then the musicality refers to how well the breaker weaves together through their moves to the beats. That is the widest explanation of breakdance I have ever heard in my life.
I have never seen cultural appropriation as egregious as this is. And I live in America. This is insane. I lived through the Kardashians being people, and even that wasn't as bad as this.
So apparently, the United States won the bronze medal.
No.
Yes.
Oh, you're fucking kidding.
So somebody from Canada won the gold medal.
That does make a little sense.
For the men, Canada won gold. I believe this is France that won silver, and then United States won third. And then for the women, a woman from Japan won the gold.
What?
Oh my God.
But you know what? That makes sense, because aren't all the Jabberwockies Asian?
Allegedly, I believe so.
Well, they are wearing masks.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
I think it's
Asian break dancers.
Well, yeah, they do it's like Asian hip hop, but it's from
it's from
the United States, from African Americans.
I'll give it.
Yeah, so they call it breaking, but it's really break dancing.
Were they crumping?
She looked like she was dying. Okay, like she was a roach somebody sprayed Raid on, and she was dying.
Breaking is the only new sport at the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Oh, is it? I thought it had been there.
It has not been included in the initial sports program for the 2028 Summer Games in LA.
It doesn't need to.
They're like, we're not doing this.
You go to LA doing that shit. They gonna, man, all that cripping and crumping and whatnot. No.
The thing for me, and I guess that there are other one-on-one battles in Olympics, but the fact that it was a fucking one-on-one breakdancing battle type situation, I was just like,
with people who are probably like over 50 who's grading this, and not a single black person.
I'm so confused.
From any country. It's crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Anyway, did you watch the men's and women's basketball Olympic finals that was both against France?
No, but that has never happened, I heard.
What?
Never have the women and men's basketball teams in the Olympics been playing the same country.
Yeah.
The same country been playing for both sports.
Well, it was a great game, honestly, on both sides. I did see the men's and the women's. The men's game, they definitely had a score to settle, and it was a lot of celebrities that were there. And
it felt like an American basketball game,
because that's what it is. Most of them people still play for the WNBA. I mean, the NBA anyway. But I feel like too, because they played so many games. People weren't really. I don't think, like, on TV, we weren't really watching it like that. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until they had the Serbia game. That Serbia game really, I felt like, put a lot of eyes on the men. And then, of course, with the women, people have been watching that from the beginning. But their game was at 9:30 in the morning, which I was like, yo. But they are in Paris. So anyway, it was great. But they only won by 1 point. I was like, yo, this game should not have been that close. But it was a great game, though. It was a really great game. But, of course, the United States came out on top with the gold medal for both the women and the men's. Sha'Carri Richardson showed her ass.
The track this year.
That's why I love track and field, man.
Honestly, okay, but here's the thing. The amount of time I spent looking up the track that they're running on, like the specs of the track and why it's so fast is ridiculous. I read like 14 fucking articles on it. Because I was just like, everything I heard when I was listening to the track is like, these are the fastest times I've ever seen. These are usually the final times, but these are just the qualifier. And I'm like, what's going on with the tracks? And then I had to figure out what's going on with the track. But yeah, they're so fast.
I just thought it was amazing. Sha'Carri, the women's 4x1 won gold, the United States, and Sha'Carri Richardson anchored that particular race, and the exchange between her and Gabby Thomas was a little shaky. And I'm saying that as a person who's never run the 4x1. And here's what I do hate when people do, and I get it, all of us do it, but I think we need to all realize that we are not Olympians because we're watching the actual Olympians do what they do. And so when you make judgments about, oh man, she should have won a gold. Well, bitch, you go get your big ass out there and you go do what she do or he do, and then you come back with a gold medal. Okay.
What's crazy to me is that the times are like point
one of a second
difference, and it would like, can you imagine losing by point? Not losing, not coming
first,
by point
if you ain't first, you're last. I'm kidding.
That shit's just, everyone was so fast, and then it was so crazy. Did you see that? What is it called? It's not hurdles. It's where they run in the water and they jump the
steeplechase.
That guy. Is it that guy who fucking fell flat on his face? And
I'm quite sure there's a lot of people who fall on steeplechase.
He fell and then just fucking laid there, and they took him off in a stretcher.
I don't know, like I give up. Because at that point, you're embarrassed.
That's what I said. I thought he was embarrassed too. Because mom was like, he's hurt. I was like, I would have saved my ass down too. What the fuck were you going to do?
You can't laugh at it.
It was like when that girl from Jamaica dropped the fucking baton in the relays. And I was like, I would have just stopped running too. You fucking DNF.
Here's the thing. We need a full investigation of the Jamaican Olympic team.
What's going on?
Something is going on behind the scenes, and I don't like it, because the fact that so many Jamaican runners pulled out. First of all, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price and Sharika Jackson pulling out already was, to me, very suspect. And it has to be something else going on behind the scenes, because that was Shelly Ann Fraser-Price's last Olympics. And the fact that y'all tried to sabotage her, allegedly, by not allowing her to go through this gate, and then, you know, do I believe Sharika Jackson is injured? No, I don't. I'm not saying she's not injured. I'm just saying that to me, there's something else going on behind the scenes, because the Jamaican athletes, especially for track and field, they don't pull out of stuff like that. Yeah. Not at the last minute. Not so many of them. They don't pull out of stuff like that.
If Simone Biles can do it with one good leg and pregnant, then we can all do it.
I think it's something political going on behind the scenes. And I'm just like, the way they were talking was very much so like, I can't even tell y'all what's going on right now.
That's so crazy.
And I'm just like, dude, because I felt like this was a very, not underwhelming. I mean, I felt like it was going to be really good competition, but a lot of people watch the Olympics.
You're always watching for Jamaica.
Absolutely. You want to see Jamaica and the United States go head to head, because they have an amazing rivalry and they have great camaraderie when it comes to, you know, track and field. So I was very just disappointed that the Jamaican athletes were not there in full throttle like they normally are. And I really want to know what's going on behind the scenes, because that was some fucked up shit. Like,
all I know is I could stare at those runners all day. Those women have the most beautiful bodies. They are all beautiful. I also love the fun part about track, I mean, is the running, but they can all have their makeup and their hair done and their cute little styles and show their style. It's like swimming, you can't do that.
No.
Basketball, they don't really do that very much. Soccer, kind of a little bit. Rugby, they don't do it. I'm just like, track is where they come styling and profiling.
Yeah, you have your own personality. Yeah. But Sha'Carri Richardson, when she anchored that 4x1 and she looked at that girl like, bitch, you thought you was going to win.
God, I love the Olympics.
Amazing. I was just, that's the only time I'm gonna rep this country is during the Olympics, but it was amazing.
I just want to shout out to the movie Cool Runnings, because
you're obsessed with bobsledding.
I literally think of every time I hear Jamaica in the Olympics, I'm like, bobsled. It's never the bobsled. Jamaican bobsled, not a thing.
Yeah, no.
It's all I think about.
And see, all I think about is track and field.
That shit has fucking been implanted into my brain.
You know, I had actually one of my he was a classmate of mine, even though he graduated 2 years.
Was he a Jamaican bobsledder?
No. He was a Jamaican. He ran for the 4x1 for Jamaica. He actually is a gold medalist. And he's also a sprinter. His name is Michael Frater. Or we used to call him Freta. Anyway, shouts out to Michael Frater. But he's a sprinter, and I want to say he graduated in 2000. But he ran for the Jamaican 4x1 and for the Jamaican Olympics team for a few years. So it was amazing to see somebody that you actually went to high school with, and
that is really cool.
To accomplish his goals and his dreams and stuff like that. So
Cool Runnings on Disney Plus. Thank God.
I cannot.
I know what I'm watching tonight.
You are freaking obsessed.
It's bobsled time.
Well, speaking of nostalgia, what were you talking about? Chris Brown and Jordan Sparks.
Okay, I don't know if anyone else saw this, but Chris Brown did a concert recently, and Jordan Sparks was in the crowd. So she's recording herself, and then Chris Brown, because she was there, played No Air, which, what a song. A timeless classic.
No hair, no hair.
When do you think that? What year do you think that song came out?
It came out. Had to be like 2005, 2007.
Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. That's a great question.
What? When that song came out?
No. How are you supposed to breathe with no air?
First of all, if I love you that much where I feel like I can't breathe, bitch, I don't want to be in love with you like that.
Tell me how am I supposed to breathe with no air? Jordan Sparks.
Why are you taking my air away is the point. That's the question. Can you find what year it came out?
Oh my God. Tattoo. Great song. 2008.
Oh, I said 2007. I was close.
So she's in the crowd and she just looks, first of all, she has not aged. She still looks great.
She looks like a baby still.
She's just getting her whole entire life because he's up there singing, because they did a remix. They sing on it together. It was originally her song. She's just having a great time.
Yeah.
Y'all are just in the comments, in the tweets, in the Twitter. How you gonna pay to go to a concert than him just be up there and sing your song? Why didn't he ask you to go up there and sing it? So you're just gonna sit there and let him sing your song? She is not upset. No one is upset. Also, this was not her concert. Also, Jordan Sparks hasn't had a song out in God knows how long.
And if she would have hopped her ass up there, y'all would have treated her like little mama when she jumped up with Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. Why she up there? First of all,
y'all are never happy.
How about Jordan Sparks is just a fan of Chris Brown, and paid to go to a fellow peer's concert, and she just wanted to enjoy the concert because she gets paid to sing. So why would she want to sing for free?
It's not like she was in this video being like, I can't believe he's out there singing my song. She was having a great fucking time, and y'all just came for her.
People are just mad just to be mad. Don't get you no place, the harder they are. Shouts out to the Sounds of Blackness. Anyway, that's a whole song.
Okay.
Mad just to be mad. Don't get you no play. That's a real okay. Anyway,
I believe you.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Speaking of other songs, Drake. What were we talking about? Drake. Okay.
Also, I don't know if anybody knew, but you know, Drake's been put in a corner for a while. I would
forever.
Say.
He's on ice forever.
Since the end of
his career.
The fucking rap beef heard around the world between him and Kendrick Lamar. That was such a time.
I'm still living on high from it. It's amazing.
That was such a moment in culture. That'll go down forever. But Drake was being quiet for a while. Really appreciated that.
Yeah, we needed a break.
He's now coming out of hiding, and he's got this website he releases like, you know, old footage he has of random shit and songs and whatever
that nobody asked for.
Exactly. And so one of the last things he released was a recording of him talking to his mom about songs that he was releasing. And he's talking about, there's a song on the Views album called Too Good that he sings with Rihanna, and it's basically him telling this girl like, I'm just too good to you. Like, that's why this isn't going to work. Like, you know, whatever. And he's like, yeah, he's telling his mom, like, you know, a couple of these songs, like, get really deep. Like, this one's about Serena Williams. And, you know, when I'm making songs about these girls, I make it a song that I know her really well. And I make these songs that I know they're going to like to listen to. Because even if they don't like what I'm saying, they're going to have to hear it and like the song. Shut up. You're so weird. No one cares. She's married with two kids.
She's happy.
We're over it. We're done.
How long ago were you and Serena?
Let
like 30 years ago?
Go. Also, my God, this is the weirdest thing to release from you. You released this to the public so they would know that you were with her. We knew you were dating her. No one gives a shit.
No one cares. Like, it's like you're trying to just come back out. Y'all still like me? No, go back in.
Also, Rihanna's the best part of that song.
First of all, when you told me about the song before we started recording, I was like, I've never heard this song before. And then you played the Rihanna part, and I was like, I have heard it. I never knew that was Drake's song because I never heard him on the record.
I feel like for the last couple years, we've been like, he's doing really weird, cringy things. He's a clown. I don't really like it. And it's this behavior. It's just like, pick me boy, like, oh, like, very much remember how I dated Serena and I made this fucking song about. Shut the fuck up. My God.
Yeah, this is definitely.
This woman has a whole life without you.
It's just go away. Just go away.
You're go back still to like after not like you just have to. You need a year off. He needs a year off.
He does.
Like, I don't want to hear anything about Drake for a year. He needs to pull the Army Hammer and go.
Yeah, just go away.
Go to an island and regroup, and then come out with a new fucking song that everybody loves.
Go
song
back to Canada for a little while where they like you.
Yeah, go hang out with the freaking gold Olympian beatboxers and break dancers. Figure it out. These little things you're doing, I don't It's weird.
It's really weird. It really is. I'll tell you what else is really weird. People are making shirts, and they are putting the punctuation of a comma, and then they are putting law, L-A, to symbolize Kamala Harris's name. And I just personally feel like we're doing too much as a society. Kamala Harris's name is not difficult to pronounce. If you can say Pamela, you can say Kamala. It's not Kamala.
Kamala.
It's not Kamala.
You just said Pamela.
It's, if you can say Pamela,
you can say Kamala.
Not Kamala. Kamala. It's Kamala.
Kamala.
Right, but you don't have to put a whole shirt with commas on it.
What? I saw that going around. I didn't understand. I thought it was like a Go Brandon or like a Sleepy Joe situation.
To me, it's kind of like the perpetuation that black people have stereotypical difficult names. And if you can say Martin Scorsese, and if you can say all these other, very long spelling names, you can say Kamala.
M. Night Shyamalan.
It's very Timothy Chalamet.
Good one.
If you can say Chalamet, you can say Kamala. It's
his name is actually
name.
Timothy.
Well, it's like Ariana Grande. Yeah, she said that's her. That's how.
And then it's her name. Do you say Rihanna or Rihanna?
I say Rihanna.
I say Rihanna too, but it's Rihanna.
Or like Raven Simone. I'm like Raven.
We're not doing all that.
Yeah, it's always been that way. Girl, you've been Raven Simone since you was a kid. Hush. We know how to pronounce your name. But I'm just saying, like, people, it's Kamala. Like, names are not difficult. It's Kamala. You know what I do all the time because I'm a medical professional. We come across 1 million names a week, literally.
Truly.
And we will practice the name before we come into the room because we want to make sure that we are saying it correctly.
Which is why half my vocabulary is bud, friend, sir.
Exactly. Hey,
little guy.
Exactly.
What's up,
little fella? Hey, you. But yeah, I always ask my patients, hey, how do you pronounce your name? Because I think it's always a fun game. It's like an icebreaker to say, well, I think it's pronounced whatever.
I'm like, oh, I would have never guessed that.
I would have butchered it. And so tell me again how to pronounce your last name or whatever. And when they say it, then you know how to say it. But stop acting like this lady has a very, it's like with Ketanji Brown Jackson. People were Ketanji, this, that. And I'm like, y'all, come. It's Kamala.
I am a big name person. I like using people's names. I feel like it makes people feel noticed and appreciated and special, and you should call them the name that they want. And you should say it right. It's like such a thing that you probably don't know or recognize or realize if you don't deal with it. But people saying your name wrong or calling you the wrong name, it's just like, it just eats at you.
There's a CNA at the hospital who, she calls me, she doesn't even call me Monica. She calls me Lisa. I don't know why. I really don't. Like, I mean, I've been called a lot of things, a lot of M words. Like, some people say, like, my patients, when I say, oh, my name is Monica, they're like, Martha, Monique, this lady legit called, hey, Lisa. Who the fuck is Lisa? Like, I get it, LMNOP, but bitch, my name is Monica. It starts with an M.
How long has she been calling you Lisa?
At least a year.
You never correct her?
I just don't correct her.
Okay.
Nah.
Darby one day, he's called me. My name, I never thought was hard. In San Antonio, it can be hard because a lot of people speak fucking Spanish, right? So I'm always Elisa, all of those things.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Darby had. One of the PTs at the hospital had called me for probably years. Calls me like Elisa or something crazy. And I don't even remember who it was, but he said my name one day and someone was like, that's not her name. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean that's not her name?
Well, at least yours started with an A.
They're like, her name's Alyssa. He's like, I've just been calling you the wrong. I was like, yeah. And he's like, you've just been letting me call you the wrong name. And I was like, yeah.
I just let her call me.
Sometimes it's just easier, just fucking let it go.
She's an older woman, and I'm just like, you know what? If it make, first of all, you're speaking to me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna correct you to a degree every single time because I know you mean well, and maybe you're just not good with names, and that's okay. At least make it an M name. But with her, she's just so sweet, and she's just like, and she says it softly as if she's like, I don't really know that that's her name. And I'm like, you've been consistently calling me Lisa this entire time.
It'd be weird if I told you now.
Exactly. So I'm forever going to be Lisa.
And that's how I felt with Darby. I was like, it's been already 3 years. Like, I can't just randomly start telling you to call me Alyssa.
So she's just like, hey, Lisa.
Hey, what's up, girl? Yeah. All that to say, though, you should call people by their name. It's really nice. Should. It's nice when you call people by their actual names.
You really should. Also, too, let's talk about this one this one situation before we get out of here. So there was a story that we broke a few months ago that
we broke it here.
I want to say it was last year. No, it happened last year. It really did happen last year. So there was a teenager who has autism. And I don't know that they released his name. Hold on.
Yes, they did.
His name is Brendan Deepa. And he was diagnosed with autism, as well as we found out that he also has allegedly schizophrenia and what was the other one?
Behavioral.
Yeah, some kind of behavioral issue.
He has like auditory hallucinations.
Yeah. And so last year we brought this story about how he basically assaulted a teacher's aide because she took away his Nintendo Switch. And just recently, this past week, he was actually sentenced to 5 years in prison.
And 15 years probation.
He's now 18. At the time the assault happened, he was 17. And so people are saying that the sentence does not... some people are saying he deserves to be in prison for 5 years. But some
time does not fit the crime.
Exactly. But some other people are saying, he's a child with autism. And so... they need to take that under consideration and not throw him in prison. I think from the victim's perspective, unfortunately, this young lady sustained very serious traumatic injury. She sustained 5 broken ribs, a concussion, herniated discs, hearing and vision loss, and now she has PTSD as well too. Also too, with the size comparison, this young man is allegedly 6'6", 270 pounds.
He's big.
He has had behavioral issues in the past, and apparently he was adopted from a group home, and they've had this whole history in the school board. And really what it seems like, by reading some of the information, allegedly the school board really failed the staff at this particular school with number one, allowing him to be at the school, but also number two, allowing him to be in like a general population. Because you were asking the question of what were you asking with regard to people, children with disabilities?
I ask a lot of questions.
Whether they should be segregation, integration?
Specifically, if your opinion on... What do they call that on, there's a term for it.
Integration.
It's integration, but they call it like something classroom, like how regardless of disability, you should be allowed to, there's teachers yelling at me right now.
They are.
That you should be allowed to be in a classroom made up of your peers. So not necessarily like the old school, like special ed classes where you're segregated away. The feedback that I've always heard about that is now you're managing 2 different classrooms in one setting. You're managing these on-level children who are trying to learn at the same time as you're trying to manage these children with different learning disabilities. And so that can be like 5 classes in one because you have all of these kids on different levels amongst your other students, which is really hard.
Yeah, my professional opinion and personal opinion is that children with disabilities, whether it be physical, mental, but more so mental and behavioral disabilities, should not be integrated into classrooms with children who are without those disabilities. Because like you said, the teachers, I feel like, are already navigating through children on different learning levels. Let's say you have 7th graders. Well, some of the 7th graders actually read on a 7th grade level, and some of them may read on a 5th grade level. And so you're having to catch all of these kids up at the same time, plus deal with the distractions that come with also too children who have behavioral issues or children who have special needs and stuff like that. And you can have a student aid for all these children with special needs, but at what point does it become too much? And I know for me growing up in school, we had separate classes where children without disabilities were in general population, and then children with children with disabilities were in another sector of class. And so we did not merge those classes, and I just feel like that is better. I'm also not an educator. I am an educator of physical therapy, but I'm not an educator when it comes to like secondary education, elementary education with students like that. I deal with adults, but
well, I think it's hard for us because in this job that we do, you come into contact a lot of times with, well, even like just having to be working in healthcare, you're privy to a lot of people who have learning disabilities,
Yes.
developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities. And like when I heard about all of this happening, my first thought was like, well, that boy has autism. Like, you know, the behavioral issues and the non-understanding consequences and the outbursts and the inability to regulate your emotions. So I was like, I don't really know. But bitch, when you read what the fuck this shit the
details.
I never heard what happened in the classroom. I just knew that she took his Nintendo Switch. He beat her. No. First of all, she was allegedly she was his like para whatever teacher, the teacher that is with the student that has a disability to help them in the classroom, right? To help them manage all of those things. And she allegedly had no formal training in this. They kind of just threw her into it. He had been suspended from school a lot of times before from fighting with different kids. And he has like, his big issue is with electronics. Like, you cannot take away his electronics. He flips out. So she either told the teacher or was told by a teacher to take away his Nintendo Switch. She left the classroom. He was spitting at her and calling her names. He followed her outside of the classroom, and then he started punching, beating her, kicking her after she was unconscious. That's insane.
Well, I think that's why there's a population of people who believe that children with autism, especially children who have these very violent behavioral issues, they believe that these kids know what they're doing. You know, there's a population of people who believe that, but then there's also people who have experience with these children and these types of issues, and they're just like, you have to empathize. These children really don't know what they're doing, and so I think it's a very hard balance, unfortunately, and a very thin line between what do they understand and what don't they understand, because you never really know. It's almost like the patients with dementia. You know, you have patients with dementia who will play on their dementia. You know, you have people who have PTSD and they will play on their PTSD, or people who have other disabilities and disorders and they will play on them, like with bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. It's like, you're not in an active manic state. You're just being an asshole right now and you're trying to blame it on your bipolar disorder, but you really are not. But again, how can you tell them that they're not? You know what I mean? And so I just feel like with autism, autism is such a huge spectrum and it's so difficult. And I feel like him going to prison is not going to help him, right? And so if he's
do you just send him to a regular prison? That's crazy to me too.
I don't think, but there's no prison that exists for children like that.
Yeah, and I don't think you can't send him to a group home. I don't know that that's appropriate, or like a facility, but I don't think he could just be thrown into prison. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I think he's either gonna hurt himself, or he's gonna hurt somebody else, and somebody else is gonna hurt him, obviously, which is, you know, the only thing that's gonna happen. But I just feel like I would, if I were a judge, I would. That would be a very difficult decision to make.
So hard. And to me, it's like, at what point is this child almost adult who mentally may not even be an adult, right, responsible for their own actions? At what point is the school responsible because he's had all of these issues in the past? Should he have been in that classroom? Should you be providing people with more education to handle this kind of behavior? But also, he's 6'7" and almost 300 pounds.
But also, too, if you reject him from being in the school, then is that looked at as discrimination as well, too?
Right.
You know?
And also, like, you know, you can't, just in a regular setting, typically these days, like, you can't tell kids this, you can't do this to kids because it's a lawsuit. Yeah. There's so many things.
And then, too, I think, you know, I did see some comments where people were just like, well, you know, she needs to sue the parents, too. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I understand what people are saying when it comes to children and the blame of their parents, but parents cannot be solely blamed for everything that their children do. Right. Like, if a child comes to school with a parent's gun, then yes, that parent is held responsible because you are in possession of that gun. You should have made sure that it was locked away, da-da-da-da. But if a child comes to school and they start fighting and beating on people, let's say they are not on the spectrum and they are without disability, you cannot blame the parent to a degree for their child's behavior. Because I know for me personally, I grew up in a very strict religious household, right? And my parents did not cuss. I still have never heard my parents cuss ever. That's crazy. They didn't argue in front of us, me and my siblings. And so we were in church all the time. Now, when I was at school cussing people's asses out, okay? It was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, okay? Yeah. Now, I was raised and reared in the fear and admonition of the Lord, okay? And I would still cuss your ass out at the schoolyard, okay? So just because I got into fights or battles with people, confrontations and stuff like that, didn't mean that my parents didn't raise me or rear me correctly, because they did. But I was a totally different person outside of the house because I wasn't free to be who I really was inside the house. So I don't think, to a degree, certain things that kids do, parents should be held responsible, because you cannot control kids.
But even like
some kids, you can't.
With this child, because I mean, therapy, like when you're doing pediatrics or whatever, you deal with behaviors a lot. And even if you're treating the behaviors at home, you have a program to treat the behaviors at school.
Yeah.
The kid can still do whatever the fuck they want to do. You know, so I'm like, the school can be doing what they need to be doing. The parent, and you would think the parent's doing what they need to do, the school's doing what they need to do. The child should have this, you know, in place. But it's just, it's one of those things, dude. One thing sets you, one thing dysregulates, and you're someone with autism, and they can just, you know,
I mean, and
lash out.
Long gone are the days of throwing kids in insane asylums because they act out. Like, that doesn't exist anymore, because again, that also is like a prison, and it doesn't work. So it's like, in this situation, how do you help this young man, but also how do you vindicate the victim in the situation, which is the teacher, who now has like physical signs of this attack and now dealing with PTSD. Because at some point you can't be empathetic toward this child. Like, as a victim of this violence, you cannot. I know, if God forbid, if it ever happened to me, I would not feel any empathy for that child. I would not. Because you broke my ribs, but you legit broke my ribs and almost killed me.
Yeah, it took 5 people to get him off of her.
And he could have killed her.
Well, and that's what's so hard with, like, you're so used to dealing with autism, Down syndrome, CP, all of those things in children, right? I've always seen like peds, outpatient. They grow up, and just because they have gotten bigger doesn't mean that they're mentally mature,
right?
But you're capable of inflicting harm on people now. Bitch, I've had some bruises and shit from little kids throwing fits that have autism. I can't imagine an 18-year-old. So that's
especially that size and stature. I think it's a very thin line. Like I said, I don't think that prison obviously is the answer, but I also don't think in this society we have a prison that is for children with autism who have violent behaviors. Because I mean, you can try to regulate as much as you can, but like you said, there takes one little trigger and all that hard work is now down the drain.
Is there like not a mental health facility, institution?
But autism isn't a mental health disorder, or is it classified as a mental health disorder?
No,
you're the OT. You're supposed to know that.
I should be knowing some shit. And
I don't know if autism is considered to be a mental health disorder, or if it's just a developmental disorder,
like an intellectual disability kind of situation. But there's got to be, and I would say like there's facilities for them, but I don't know if they're necessarily for violent people with.
And the only thing that unfortunately the society is going to equip with violence is prison. That's it. Lock them in a cage, and that's not going to work.
Prison's not the environment.
So he goes to prison for 5 years, and he suffers this entire time for 5 years. Then he gets out. He's going to be even more violent.
Yeah.
And it's or he's gonna be so introverted that he's a mute now, or he becomes mute, or he just stays within himself, and it's gonna take one thing, and he's gonna lash out and kill somebody.
And the hardest thing, which I don't know this person specifically, but when you're dealing with people with low functioning autism. It's so necessary to have their routines and their environment stabilized and all of these things for them to function. Prison doesn't give a shit about that.
Yeah, I don't think that it's fair for him to go to prison just because, unfortunately, the way that how prisons are privatized, but also too, these COs don't have time to cater to people with disabilities and
they're not rehabilitating anything in prison.
It's just a babysitting. Yeah. You stay there until your sentence is done.
Did you see that super prison that they opened in South America? Where did they open it?
I would never want to.
Fuck. There were these videos. It looks insane. Oh, where is it? Hold on. Give me a second.
I mean, do they get some type of freedom, or is it just like completely like detention?
El Salvador in 2022.
That sounds like it's horrible.
This huge prison. It has 14,500 inmates.
Jesus.
And apparently the big deal was, or like the reason gang violence got so bad in El Salvador is because there were a bunch of gang members that were in the U.S. and we deported them all back to El Salvador. We said, have a good time. And they just ran fucking rampant. And so the president there was just like, you know what? This is fucking bullshit. He opened a mega prison. It's like 8 buildings, 30, and each one has 32 cells. And when you look at the videos of it, it is insane to look at.
Is this the one where they don't have mattresses and stuff like that? Okay, I did see a clip of on TikTok
it
about that.
It is insane to look at.
Wow.
That many people. But he was, and I think he has like really high approval ratings because El Salvador was so bad, and he was just like, fuck it, everyone's getting put in fucking jail.
But how do you combat like the corrupt COs and stuff like that, especially if it's like, you know,
no idea, but just the sheer number of seeing that many people incarcerated blew my, which I would assume in America that we have more than 14,000 people.
Absolutely. San Quentin alone, probably.
But for some reason, seeing all those people was insane. All that to say, I don't know what I would do if I was the judge in that situation with that boy.
Yeah.
That is a very hard one. Tell me how you're supposed to breathe with no air.
Oh, no. San Quentin actually only has, is designed to have 32,300. I'm sorry. 3,239 occupants.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many incarcerated people are in the United States in total?
A population of, hold on. Okay. Oh shit.
What is it?
Woo! 1.2 million people. God damn. That was of 2022.
Are you kidding?
That's the National Prisoner Statistics Program states that the United States prison population was 1.2 million at the end of 2022, a 2% increase.
Oh my God.
From 2021, which was 1.2. It was like 1.2, 1,230,000 by the end of 2022. And then 2021, it was 1,205,000.
That's almost like the entirety of San Antonio imprisoned.
But it says the number of females in state or federal prison increased almost 5%. And then,
what are y'all doing, ladies? What's going on?
Blue collar crimes. I mean, white collar. You know, trafficking or
oh yeah,
stealing people's identity, fraud, all that kind of stuff. You know, city girl shit. Yeah, damn.
Shit,
1.2 million?
I would have not guessed that at all.
Jeez, what is going on in Arkansas? These are the 10 states with the highest incarceration rates. Arkansas is number 1 with 574 per 1,000.
Holy shit.
Per 100,000. I'm sorry. Jesus.
Ooh,
keep me out of prison, Lord.
I would say meth, but that could have been a lie.
And out of all of the people incarcerated, black people make up for 37%. That don't seem like a correct statistic. I'm sorry. I feel like we are way higher than that.
Arkansas is the fastest growing state prison population in the nation. What's going on in Arkansas? They're overcrowded. Are y'all okay?
What's going on in Arkansas? Is it a hard life there?
I don't know. It says it has the 2nd highest rate of rape, 4th highest rate of aggravated assault, and 8th highest rate of murder and non-negligent manslaughter in the country.
Arkansas?
It has the 4th highest rate of burglary, 6th highest rate of larceny, theft. What the fuck is going on?
Officer Norman? Okay, do you follow Officer Norman? He's a police officer in Arkansas.
No.
Okay, Officer Norman, I need you to rise up, sir, because this man gave out snacks to the kids. What's going on with the crime in Arkansas?
What the hell?
I did not think our show was going to turn to that. Wow, that is insane.
Shocked.
Arkansas?
It estimates that Arkansas's prison population will grow by 1.4% per year.
Jesus. Wow. And Texas is number 4 on this list.
Texas is big, though.
452 per 100,000.
Okay, but also the size of Arkansas compared to how many...
Arkansas is this big.
Y'all, what the fuck is going on up there?
Jesus. Remind me never to move to Arkansas. Good night. Wow. But anyway, I still don't think this young man deserves... Well, I won't say he deserves. I don't think prison is going to help. But also, too, I don't think they have any intentions to help him because he's a young black man with intellectual disorder. But I feel like, again, going back to the olden days, locking people in cages is not helpful for your mental.
No.
And so you're only going to turn him either into a monster or you're going to turn him suicidal. Either way. the outcome is still bad. You know,
it's not great.
No, but also too again.
But honestly, that lady needs justice.
She does need justice.
Understand.
Yeah, and especially
that is just a tough one.
It is. I would not want to be a judge and making that call.
No,
because that's a oof, Lord, that's sad. That's really sad. But also too, it's just sad all the way around. Either way. Anything else we need to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I'm not going to Arkansas.
I'm not going to Arkansas either. What are you watching real quick before we get out of here?
Nothing. There's a new season of Umbrella Academy, so I'm rewatching that.
What episode are you on right now?
I'm rewatching the first season. Should I not even do that?
No.
I just couldn't remember. I was having, okay, you know why? Did you watch Loki, that show Loki?
No.
For some reason, that show and Umbrella Academy in my head cross. And so I couldn't. I also do that a lot in my head.
They give you a recap though. It's season 4 because it's the final season.
I thought we were on season 3. See, that's how behind I am.
The new one that just came out Friday was season 4.
The last season I watched was season 3. Got it.
Yeah. But they give you like a little recap of basically what ended up happening, which is the end part,
like the end of the world part.
Yeah, with the other siblings or whatever.
Got
from a different timeline. But yeah, so far it's actually cool. Like. I mean, I've heard mixed reviews. There's some people who are saying that y'all could have kept a little bullshit at 6 episodes because it's only 6 episodes, which I think is weird. But
I really like that show.
I love Umbrella Academy. I just feel like they're getting dumber. Which is not very helpful. But I'm on the 3rd episode now, and it's really good so far.
Season. Okay,
yeah, this is the final season of Umbrella Academy,
and I've been working my way through the newest season of The Bear. It just gives me anxiety, so it's taking me a while.
Oh, yeah, I've just been watching
Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
That's all I got.
Yep. Grey's Anatomy, Living Single, Miss Pat Show, and Umbrella Academy.
If it ain't broke, I'm trying to
Don't fix it.
If there's anything new that I've watched. New. No.
I want to watch Supercell though. I've seen Supercell, and it's basically about sickle cell, actually.
Really?
Where there's this guy who actually has sickle cell, and instead of sickle cell being this debilitating disease, it actually gives him superpowers.
Interesting. Yeah, I did watch A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Okay.
She's trying to solve a murder.
I finally saw Dune Part 2.
Oh, did you like it?
Hated it.
Really?
Hated it.
You don't understand.
Hated it.
Why'd you hate it? You didn't like Fade Rotha? I love his little toothless ass.
I can't even remember what happened at the very end. I don't even know if I finished it. I don't think I finished it.
I really liked that movie.
They just was in the desert. It was. I mean, Zendaya actually talked, which was cool. I guess
she did. I love Austin Butler in that movie.
Yeah, no, I didn't finish it.
Okay, well, they're long. It's a ride. You gotta be.
It's a very slow ride. It's like 2 miles an hour. I need you to speed it up.
But that is a movie that I think you really do have to watch in a theater. Like, it's got to encompass you.
No, I fall asleep because I fell asleep.
Okay. I thought I was going to fall asleep and I didn't because I was so into it.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I think because you just like Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet.
I do. Have you seen all the videos of people watching Twister in 4D?
No.
And all their fucking seats are moving and shit.
See, I don't want to go to no movie like that. I don't need to feel like I'm in the Twister.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need that.
No, that's not fun. If I would do that, I'd go on a roller coaster at It's a Small World after all or something.
We were supposed to go to the movies.
We were.
What were we supposed to see? Why didn't you call me?
Quiet Place 3.
Okay. 4, 8.
6, 12.
We'll get together. This is the week.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're the one who goes out all the time. You're the one supposed to tell me.
I forgot until this very moment.
See? Same thing with the cranberry juice. I'm a patient. All I'm saying is...
It all comes back.
We forget shit. Anything else we need to talk about before we get out of here?
No, that's it.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us again for another episode of The Face Off with Fleming and Fowler. Y'all remember to have an amazing week on purpose. Don't let nobody steal your light. You remember to spread love.
Spread light.
And don't forget to laugh your face off.
Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of The Face Off with Fleming and Fowler. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at The Face Off Pod. Be sure to tune in to The Face Off every Tuesday where new episodes are released.